The idea of public sex is controversial worldwide, often invoking legal, moral, and cultural discussions. In most countries, engaging in sexual activity in public is illegal, considered indecent exposure, or viewed as a breach of societal norms. However, there are places where the laws are more lenient, or where the culture allows a more open expression of sexuality. We explore countries where public sex might be legal or tolerated and discuss their broader sexual culture. Number 1. Netherlands. The Netherlands is well known for its liberal attitudes toward sex and tolerance for activities that might be taboo elsewhere. While public sex is technically not legal, certain parks in cities like Amsterdam have unofficially allowed it under specific conditions. For example, in Vondelpark, Amsterdam's largest park, authorities allow people to engage in sexual activities at night as long as they clean up afterward and avoid busy or children's areas. Sex culture in the Netherlands. The Dutch sex culture is characterized by openness and a pragmatic approach. The Netherlands was the first country to legalize same-sex marriage and has long championed sexual education, with a focus on consent, safety, and respect. Prostitution is legal and regulated, and sex shops, adult theaters, and red light districts are common sights. This culture of openness extends to discussions about sex, which are less stigmatized compared to many other countries. Number 2. Germany. In Germany, public sex is generally illegal, but attitudes vary. Certain regions, especially in Berlin, are known for their more relaxed enforcement of public decency laws. For instance, nudity and sex at some specific beaches, parks, and nature spots, known as FKK, Freikörperkultur or free body culture areas, are somewhat tolerated, especially when it's not overtly disturbing others. Berlin also has a vibrant fetish and BDSM scene, and parties or clubs may permit sexual activities under controlled settings. Sex culture in Germany. Germans embrace an attitude of freedom and individual rights when it comes to sexuality. The free body culture movement, which started in the early 20th century, has normalized nudity and body acceptance. Berlin, in particular, is known as one of the sex-positive capitals of the world, with clubs that cater to a variety of sexual preferences and fetishes. Overall, the culture encourages a healthy, respectful, and consensual approach to sexuality. Number 3. Denmark. Denmark shares similar cultural values with its Northern European counterparts when it comes to sexuality. Public sex is not legally sanctioned, but the laws are generally relaxed about nudity and less explicit activities. In Copenhagen, nudist beaches like Bellevue Strand can sometimes see more intimate activities, although this is still technically against the law. That said, Danish authorities typically adopt a tolerant approach as long as no one is disturbed. Sex culture in Denmark. Denmark is one of the pioneers in sexual liberalism, being the first country to legalize pornography in 1969. Danish culture emphasizes personal freedom, privacy, and the right to make individual choices. This openness also extends to sex education, which starts early in schools and covers topics like safe sex, consent, and diverse sexual orientations. Copenhagen's red light district is smaller compared to Amsterdam's, but the city's sex shops and clubs reflect a society that is accepting and open-minded about sexuality. Number 4. Spain. In Spain, laws regarding public decency vary between regions. Public sex is illegal, but some coastal areas and beaches, especially those frequented by tourists in places like Ibiza or Gran Canaria, are more relaxed. People engaging in public sex are generally fined but not criminally charged unless the behavior is overtly explicit or disruptive. Nudist beaches, which are abundant along the Mediterranean coast, can sometimes see more intimate displays, though these are still frowned upon. Sex culture in Spain. Spanish culture is known for its passion and vibrant nightlife, but the country's approach to sexuality blends traditional and modern values. Spain has a thriving LGBTQ+ community, with cities like Madrid and Barcelona hosting some of Europe's largest pride events. The country also legalized same-sex marriage in 2005, making it one of the early adopters in Europe. Spanish sex culture balances openness with a sense of discretion, especially in smaller towns where conservative views may prevail. Number 5. Brazil. Brazilian law prohibits public sex, but beaches and certain carnival festivities can be quite liberal about public displays of affection, including activities that might cross the line in other contexts. For instance, during the annual carnival, the atmosphere is more festive and lenient, and it's not uncommon to see couples engaging in intimate activities in public, though outright sex is still illegal and can lead to arrest. Sex culture in Brazil. Brazil is a country of contrasts when it comes to sexuality. On the one hand, there is a strong sense of sensuality, dance, and passion that is showcased in festivals like Carnival, which celebrates the body and freedom. On the other hand, Brazilian society also has a conservative side, influenced by religious beliefs. This duality makes the country both sexually expressive and reserved, depending on the region and context. However, in major cities like Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo, attitudes towards sexuality are more open and progressive. Number 6. France. France has a complex relationship with public displays of sexuality. Public sex is illegal, but authorities sometimes turn a blind eye if the act is discreet and does not disturb others. Certain parks, beaches, and clubs are known for more lenient attitudes, especially in cities like Paris, where libertine or swingers clubs are popular. The French have a long tradition of romanticism and casual attitudes toward relationships, which can influence how public displays of affection are perceived. Sex culture in France. France is often associated with romance, seduction, and sensuality. French culture places a strong emphasis on the art of love, and casual discussions about sex are not uncommon. The country has a thriving adult entertainment industry, and libertine culture, or swinger culture, is well established, with many clubs catering to couples and individuals interested in exploring their sexuality. While public sex might not be legally acceptable, the French attitude toward sexuality is one of sophistication, consent, and enjoyment. Conclusion. While engaging in sex in public spaces remains illegal in most countries, there are regions where authorities adopt a more lenient approach, especially in areas with a strong tradition of sexual freedom or liberal social attitudes. In places like the Netherlands, Germany, and Denmark, the culture is more open and tolerant, reflecting broader societal acceptance of diverse sexual expressions. However, even in these countries, discretion is key, and the boundaries of legality are often defined by respect for others. Ultimately, the legal and cultural stance on public sex highlights how different societies view personal freedom, consent, and the intersection of public and private life. If considering engaging in public displays of intimacy in a foreign country, it's always advisable to understand local laws and customs to avoid legal trouble and to respect local sensibilities.